The Book of Chronicles isn't just a record, it's a story of survival and hope for a nation returning from exile. After Babylon, the Israelites needed to remember who they were. Chronicles gave them that, not by repeating old stories, but by shaping a new narrative. The authors emphasize God's enduring promises, especially the promise of a king from David's line. Instead of starting with drama, the book opens with a long list of names, genealogies that might seem dull to us, but were vital to Israel. For them, these names were proof. We are still here. Our story isn't over. Each name was a link to the past, a testament to survival. Imagine a scattered family returning home, piecing together their lineage to reclaim their identity. Chronicles does this for the whole nation, tracing their roots back to Adam. These lists re-establish their claim to the land and to God's promises. When we read these names, we witness the reconstruction of a nation's soul. At the heart of this family tree, one branch stands out: Judah, the tribe of kings. The focus narrows, setting the stage for King David and the promise of a future king. Chronicles is not just history, it's the blueprint for a nation's rebirth. Chapter 2 zooms in on Israel's sons, but quickly centers on Judah. Though not the firstborn, Judah's line is highlighted, showing that God values character over birth order. The story of Tamar, who ensures Judah's line continues through Perez, shows God working through imperfect situations. From Perez, the genealogy branches out, but the focus settles on Hezron and his sons, Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb, founders of major clans. Ram fathered Amminadab, then Nahshon, then Salmon, then Boaz. Boaz fathered Obed, Obed fathered Jesse, and Jesse's youngest son was David. The entire chapter builds to this: David, the shepherd boy who would become Israel's greatest king. Every name is a step toward the fulfillment of God's promise. The genealogy is not just a list, it's the unfolding of destiny. Through these names, hope is reborn for a nation. For returning exiles, genealogies were more than family trees. They were proof of identity and legal claims to land. Without these records, you couldn't serve as a priest or reclaim your inheritance. These lists held society together, restoring order after chaos. They were also reminders of God's faithfulness, each name a link in the chain of promises to Abraham. For exiles, these names proved God had not forgotten them. The genealogies helped resettle the land, reconnect families, and rebuild the nation. Most importantly, they tracked the messianic promise, from Abraham to Judah to David. Reading Judah's line was like following a treasure map to the future king. These records pointed to hope, restoration, and a coming savior. The names mattered because they carried the promise of redemption. Within Judah's family tree, certain names are signposts. Perez, born from scandal, shows God's plan works through imperfect people. Hezron's descendants form the core of Judah, growing into a powerful tribe. The genealogy highlights leaders like Nahshon and Boaz, whose stories include outsiders like Ruth. This shows God's promise is bigger than Israel alone. It hints at a king for all nations. The line reaches its climax with David, the youngest of Jesse's sons. David fulfills the promise to Judah, a shepherd who becomes king, a man after God's heart. He establishes Jerusalem and receives God's promise of an everlasting throne. From David on, Israel's hope is forever tied to his line. The royal lineage is not perfect, but it's the vessel for God's redemption. The story points forward to a greater king yet to come. The genealogy in Chronicles is more than history. It's foreshadowing. Every name, from Perez to David, points to a future fulfillment, the Messiah. The line's imperfections, Tamar's scandal, Ruth the foreigner, show that God's grace works through broken stories. David, the flawed king, creates a longing for a perfect ruler. Jesus is the fulfillment, the true son of David, the perfect king who redeems all. Where David failed, Jesus succeeds. His kingdom is eternal. For Jews, this genealogy is the record of the royal line and the promise of a Messiah. For Christians, it's the proof that Jesus is the long-awaited King. Chronicles isn't just a list of names, it's the foundation for the greatest story ever told. Through generations, God weaves a plan of salvation. The promise of a king who would reign forever is the heartbeat of the story. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.